Welcome back. My name is Caitlin and this is my no buy here. I'm not buying anything new, makeup or skincare beauty related, unless I run out of something in a particular category. Today I wanted to do a ranking of all of the Pat McGrath Mothership palettes that I have, and I have 7 of them. And just as a disclaimer, one of the reasons that I'm doing a no buy here is that I have had a shopping problem in the past and I spend money on things that I don't really need. Yes, I have 7 motherships, but quite frankly, no one needs this many. So I hope that by ranking these, I can sort of help you decide, like, if you're in the market to buy one, maybe which one would be better for you out of the 7 that I have. I don't want to encourage overspending on makeup in particular because I've had a problem with that in the past. Let's just go ahead and start ranking. Alright, coming in at the bottom, number 7 is actually the first Mothership. It's Mothership 1 Subliminal. When I got this, I actually thought that it would end up being one of my favorites because I like to use cool tone shadows quite often, but for some reason the looks that I put together with this just sort of don't mix well with my skin tone, I guess. Just whenever I make a look out of this, I kind of just end up looking sickly, like not healthy, which is really unfortunate. I think alone, like, each of the shadows would be something that I would find quite enjoyable, but for whatever reason, putting looks together, they just don't look that good on my face. I actually really like the special shade, this one though. That special shade I really like to use as like a one and done type of thing if I'm going for something really light, like I don't want the depth that I normally go for in my eye. I really like the shift of it. Again, I just have to be a little bit careful with like the blushes and other type of color that I'm putting on my face to make sure that it doesn't like clash with it. Coming in at number 6 is Mothership 4 The Decadence. This one. This is the one where it's all shimmer, like all metallics in it. There's no mattes and there's no special shades. And because of that, I find that I'll reach for this if I just want a one and done type eye look. But to me, I find it kind of hard to create like complex looks with it. I feel like I don't ever want to use more than like 2 at most when I'm using it. And if I want to be like blending any of them out, I have to go to another palette to get like a matte in order to do that. So that's the reason that this is coming in at number 6. Coming in at number 5 is the Mothership 6 Midnight Sun. So I find that this is a little bit too warm toned for me, like the mattes, and I find that I can't really get them to work that well with the metallics that are in here. So like I actually quite like this like bronzy color and the green really for using all over my lid, basically as a one and done shade. But I find if I try to blend them out with the mattes that are in here, it just doesn't really look that good on my eye. And I find that some of the special shades are kind of hard to work with for me. Like the orange is okay, but again, I find like I have to use it on its own. And this gold, it's like a really yellow gold, and I find that those don't look that great on me. This special shade, however, is super wet looking, and I really like that about it. but then the purple, I find that I can't like find a use for it. Again, I feel like I can find, like if I'm only using 1 or 2 shades from it, I can get looks that I like, but trying to use any more than that, I don't really like how it turns out, which is why it's ranked number 5 for me. Coming in at number 4 is Mothership 5 Bronze Seduction. This one, I feel like I can use multiple shades together, and I always like how it looks. I love having the deeper matte shade be more purple. I find that dark purples really look good on my eyes, and I love both of the bronze shades. And when I use the bronze shades, I feel like I can use the other mattes that are in here to blend them out quite well. The red, I don't find myself using that often, but I like to use the like peachy gold like on my brow bone or just tapped over the lid. This special shade I find is a little bit too yellow leaning to go with the looks that I often create with this, but I like to use it on its own. And then this one has a pretty cool shift to it. I find myself using that on its own a lot too. It's like, it has like a yellow base, and then the sparkles in it are kind of pink, which right off the bat I wouldn't think that I would like, but I end up liking when I use it just like over the lid, or if I just use the mattes in the palette and then use that to tap over the lid or over top, I usually like how that turns out. Alright, now we're really getting into, so I would say that those 4 I can enjoy using, and I sometimes like how the looks turn out, but I don't find myself reaching for them over and over again. These top 3 I find myself reaching for all the time. Coming in at number 3 is the Utopian Dreams, and it's, what is it, Mothership 9 Utopian Dreams. So although it's kind of more pops of color, I find that they're colors that tend to work well on my skin tone and on my eyes. So the mattes being sort of rosy or like lavender type leaning, I find usually look pretty good. And the bronze shade in here I really like, and this like peachy pinkier shade, it's like a rose gold, and I find that it tends to complement my eye color quite well. And then the like oil slick shade, which is this one right here, I find that I think this might be one of the only like true multi-chrome type shade, not just like some of the special shades where they kind of just shift to like one color, but I find the oil slick, it's like red, gold, greeny shift, and I just really love using this special shade to tap all over the lid. And the purple one is really good for like if I just put some of the mattes in the crease of my eye and then adding the purple like all over. I find that I always like how the looks turn out when I use this palette. Coming in at number 2 is Mothership 7 Divine Rose. This is the first Divine Rose. I find that this is the most neutral, everyday type looks. I think out of all of them, maybe the Bronze Seduction you can get pretty everyday type looks, but I find that like taking out the special shades, those 6 are like the most neutral, natural of all of the Motherships. I think out of like, definitely out of all the ones that I have, but even the couple that I don't have, I find that this is more like natural looking than those as well. And basically like any combination of these shades I can get to make a great look. Take one of the metallics, put it all over the lid, blend it out with one of the 2 mattes, and it looks great. this special shade is a little bit too yellow leaning gold, but I think that's like the only one in here that I don't use on a regular basis. And here it is. My number one favorite is the Mothership 10 Moonlit Seduction, sorry. So this one, it has 4 special shades, kind of. They're not the typical baked special shade formula, which is in most of the others, but I gotta be honest, I kind of like them better. They are, like, they still are flaky and textured and just like great to use. I find that I can get use out of all of them. My favorite is this one. I kind of just end up using it in any look that I do. No matter what I have all over the lid, I kind of take that as a finisher and just tap like over the center or like up to my brow bone. And I always like how it looks. This is actually the palette that I have on my eyes today. I took the platinum metallic all over the lid, and I had a bit of this one in my crease, and then I took this and put it over the center of my lid up to the brow bone and used it to blend out the like outer corner portion of my eye. And I love how this looks. So I find myself, this is my number one because I use it the most out of any of them, and it's the one that I tend to reach for. Like, even if I'm using other eyeshadows, I tend to reach for it just to take one of the flaky textured shades to put like at my brow bone and to blend out the outer corners of my eyes a lot. So number one. I know that some people were like a little bit disappointed in it because the special shades weren't the baked that they normally are, but honestly I feel like you get enough texture from them that I think they stack up to the other ones, to be honest. And if you like the rosier leaning matte shades, I think you would love this one, as I do. Alright, so those are my Pat McGrath palettes ranked. Thank you for watching and hanging out with me today while I did that. I hope it was somewhat useful for you. If not, maybe it was at least entertaining for you. Thank you for watching. If you like this kind of stuff, then I hope you will consider subscribing, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.